Hey, let's do this. We have an emergency press conference, Red Sox State of the Union.
Fuck you, John. Fuck you, Heim. Fuck Fenway Sports Group. Fuck all of it.
Yep. So this is breaking our normal tradition of Sunday night recordings, Monday morning post. But the Red Sox just shipped off another franchise player into the moon. So we had to come in here and we decided to get it off because I'm not going to be able to stir on this until Sunday. So
there's just been so much that happened with the Red Sox too over the last week. I feel like.
Speaking of which, should we're just not even addressing that we have a fourth member of the BLB.
Oh, is there somebody else in here?
Oh shit!
This is
hey, how are
our
you?
first honorary guest of the Bush League Boys, Mr. Jared Richards.
Hello. Hello.
Jared,
He told us
to have you.
Say something. Introduce yourself.
I have no idea what everybody will talk about, but all I'll say is I'm very unhappy right now.
Well, it's like you said, you're like, all right, well, I'll be a guest on the podcast, but only if you're talking about Red Sox stuff. Well, let me tell you, this is the first one. It's just going to be Sox, so lock in. So, yeah, if you live under a rock and you don't know, Xander Bogaerts signed, was it 11 years?
11 for 280.
280. So 11 years, 280 with the San Diego Padres and just making Red Sox Nation basically start a holocaust against the start a freaking mass genocide against the Fenway Sports Group.
I'm shocked Fenway hasn't burnt to the ground yet.
It's only a matter of time. I don't think it'll happen this year, but God forbid the Red Sox don't re-sign Devers next year. Fenway Park is literally going to go up in flames.
Why would Devers want to
that's what I was just gonna say, Chris. If they don't re-sign Devers, it'll be the fourth player in a row to get away from the Sox like this.
Yep.
That's franchise players.
Vet, just Bogaerts and Devers.
Oh, the list goes on before that, though.
Oh, if you were saying
this goes on
with
you
Lester,
got Nomar. Nomar.
Yeah.
Nomar's like the first. I mean, actually, no. You know who the first one was? The Bambino. Numero uno. So you got Bambino, you got Nomar. Manny was the same. Well, Manny was a different story.
Manny was different.
But they have this history of not bringing back their guys. And I know, Chris, like we talked about it on when we were talking about the free agent signings, and you thought that they were gonna kind of nut up and bring them back,
and now it just feels like this Masataka Yoshida signing is just like a cover up. Like, hey, I did something halfway decent.
Well, that's why, though, because the weird thing is I thought the same thing, but also at the time of the Yoshida signing, they were saying that things were going well with Bogaerts. There were deep talks. So, like, to me, are the Red Sox media members and Chaim Bloom and the internal guys pushing a false narrative to make it look like Jansen and Yoshida aren't just cushions to soften the blow of losing Bogaerts. It's kind of a weird, because it's shitty.
I don't necessarily think it was just the cushion the blow either, though. I genuinely think they thought they had him, but you offer the guy, what did they came out 160, and the Padres come in. Oh yeah, no, here's 11 for 280.
I think they had him at. I thought it was. It wasn't it like 8 years at like 200 or something like that.
No, it was 160 because it was 120 million less than what the Padres gave.
Yeah, it was 160.
That was their highest offer.
Was their highest offer to him? Yeah. Which, if you want to offer that last spring, sure, he'd probably take that, but not with this. Not with this one. Where what did
especially after the year he had, dude hit over fucking 300.
Yeah, the year he had, what Trey just got, he wasn't going to get much less than him.
And the other thing was the tweet that Pete Abe sent out, and now Pete Abe isn't the most credible source.
Hey, put some respect on my boy Pete Abe's name.
He was like, Chaim, with a smile on his face, offered no update on Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah,
so
to me that was like, it's a done deal.
Just trying to play chess or what?
Yeah.
But
Spear said that. I think all of them, all the Red Sox beat writers said that. Spear, Cotillo, Pete Abe, like they also.
I mean, I don't know if you guys watch NBC Sports tonight or Boston Sports. Up until maybe 9:00, 9:30 last night, it was like, yep, things are looking good for Bogaerts and the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What were they pushing a false narrative?
He was at
to
the
try to
game that night.
It's just weird.
Like it really does feel like this was a Padres coming in over the top last minute, just throw money.
Like they did it with Judge.
Yeah,
they did it with Judge and almost fucking got him. Nobody knew what. I think. I mean, you look at the Padres and you look at the Mets, and you see what they're doing, trying to bring in these players of free agency. To me, it makes more and more sense to have a hard salary cap in baseball because now you have these GMs that are so willing to just pay that tax and bring in whoever the fuck they want.
Padres are paying 3 separate dudes over $300 million.
That's what I'm saying. Almost $1 billion in on 3 guys. Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
I'd also 2 things. 1, I'd like to know where the Padres are getting all this money from. What drug rings going on out in San Diego? They're able to afford.
No, that's. I mean, Fernando Tatis during his time away from PEDs was over there peddling juice.
Yeah,
but like even think about it though. Like Jake Cronenworth, when his time comes, he's gonna have to get paid. Is he gonna stay in San Diego? Fucking Kim, in my opinion, has somewhat earned himself a little bit of a bag having stepped in for Tatis. I'm not saying he's gonna get massive
money, but he'll get paid.
Right. Well, no, not even close. But he's earned a bit of a payday.
Absolutely.
Like they have guys that are studs.
All of them. Their lineup is stupid. Like,
and then what are you gonna do when like Musgrove's time comes and like you still got a starting rotation and a bullpen to build?
Right. But like the thing to me, I think the insane thing is immediately in your head, right? You go, they signed Bogaerts. They must be moving on from Tatis. But no, you forget he played a bunch of outfield. So they'll have Soto in right. They'll have Grisham in center, Tatis in left.
Yep.
And then Seong Kim will probably just go to second, Cronenworth shift to first, and then you got Nola behind the plate, Machado at third.
Well, Cronenworth was playing first for a good amount of the year.
Until Bell came over.
Yeah.
That's another one. If the other option is like, because Tatis was kind of sketchy in the outfield, to me, where he can kind of play all over the place, if Ha-Seong Kim's not having that great of a year, do you deal him? Yeah, do you deal him at the deadline and put Tatis at second base, and then outfielders are a dime a dozen? You can find an everyday outfielder anywhere.
That's the thing where they kind of fuck themselves too. Like, there's no possible way they're going to be able to get rid of Tatis, even if they wanted to. Nobody's going to take that.
No one's going to take.
Well, he's a liability now.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not like a crazy contract, but still because of his reputation.
It's a lot.
Right, but it's because he signed before arbitration. It's not like these 300 plus.
With the Padres, they're still paying Eric Hosmer. Whatever contract they gave him, they're still paying him too.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Is he still on the Sox technically?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So the Sox are doing what the Patriots are doing
this year.
Pretty much.
They're getting people for free.
Yeah. He might be. Yeah. I don't know.
That's what the Red Sox are doing.
It doesn't seem to really work for either, but
no.
Let's look at it from a flip side thing. So let's kind of analyze this as like San Diego fans. If you were a San Diego fan, how would you feel if your team just locked up a 30-year-old shortstop for 11 years?
Not great.
So
I hate it
now for the first 5 years, and then
let you guys go first.
Well, that's the thing. Like you got to feel good for the first, even like up to 7, maybe 8, but that's like pushing it. Right? Like you feel great for like max potential for these first like 3 to 4 years, and then you're going to start to see the little bit of a decline. You have this dude locked up until age 41. Like how good of a shortstop do you think this dude's going to be playing at 41? And granted, they can put him at DH or they can move him around, shift him to.
I would say I would bet you by the time he's 35, 36, I would be willing to bet he either Machado opts out to play third, or I could also see him playing first. Because he's a bigger shortstop.
What's Manny Machado's contract?
It's dumb.
That's all we know is it's dumb.
I think he's at 10 years, isn't he? Or 7 years?
I think it was 10. 7.
That was 10.
Yeah.
Was it 10, 300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he sign that? When was that?
3 years. 2019. He signed right at like the same week as Bryce Harper.
Yep, 2019. Yep.
So I will say I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. That's why I wanted you guys to go first. So I did some research, and there's a historical contract that kind of lines up with this one that's ending this year, and Chris Davis from the Orioles.
Yeah,
and he hasn't played in 3 years. But so there's 2 options, right? So to me, the 11 years, 380 or 280, having those 11 years is just a safety blanket. They don't expect him to play all 11 of those years. What I think is going to happen is he's going to play out whatever he has left. He'll play till he wants to retire, and then essentially they're going to renegotiate that contract, and you can actually – so what they did with the Orioles, Chris Davis, they renegotiated and deferred all his payments. So basically it just stretches out. So to me, like if you stretch it out over long periods, like kind of like what the Mets are doing with Verlander, if just that selling point is those years and that job security and that extra money, like it kind of makes sense. Like they made a good deal if they can renegotiate it like this and pay him out fucking – because say he plays 9 years. That's only like what? Fucking like $50 million max that you got to pay out.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to knuckle down and be like, let's go Bob Dylan style, pay him $2 million for the next 25 years. Like that's devil's advocate, of course. Like that's kind of a lot of moving parts have to be right. Both sides have to agree and stuff. But that's what, like, because I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about free agency, Chris Davis, before they signed Kyle Gibson, was the only Orioles player under contract outside of arbitration, and he hasn't even played for him in 3 years. It was because he retired.
John Means wasn't one?
No, he's arbitration, or it might have been John Means might have just signed before this year. I think. Yeah,
another one.
Yeah, he's like the only active player under contract ever. But like, so like, if it was those extra years were the selling point, and they're banking on him playing 8-9 years, and then you can kind of just renegotiate and defer those payments out, like.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the contract seem as bad. And like if you look at his projections, he's on pace. Like if he like in reality, he's probably around his prime right now. He probably has till age 30, 32, 33. You'll probably exit your prime, but on pace, he's still on pace. Like 2,500 hits, career hits would be under pace what he's looking at right now. If he goes crazy for a couple years, 200 hit season, he could hit 3,000 hits, 300 home runs. He's going to be hitting right about 300. Like if he plays the way he's been playing through his career, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So like, if those numbers work out and like you can defer those payments and he makes it justifiable, it's not as bad a contract as it seems. But I wouldn't want the Red Sox to pay it.
No.
Right. Well, and that's exactly as a Red Sox fan, I would not want him for that long.
But then you spin it, and they could have paid him half that in fucking March, but they didn't.
Well, and that's the thing. I feel like if we had just gotten this done sooner.
Right. That's why I'm not even looking at the contract. It's just irritating that he went somewhere else. Really.
You don't let your guys
dilly-dally around, which leads back. Fuck you.
John Henry can
and I more so
me.
Put this on Henry than I put this on Kime.
Yeah, I think
blame, but I put more of it on Henry.
I mean, based on I feel like they signed Trevor Story and we're like, okay, that's our big name guy.
Yeah. And
it almost seems like they're trying to transition into a mid-market team. Where they're probably lower bracket of the high end of the market, but like
they're the second.
It seems like now as
park to go to.
I know
you can't have it both
ways.
Which
doesn't make sense.
Mid-market team, but then it's going to cost a family of $400 $250 or whatever it is dollars.
That's true.
Park. Like
and to me, if you look at the Yoshida signing and the Kenley Jansen sign, it almost seems like John or FSG basically told Chaim Bloom was like, sign whoever the hell you want, just keep it under $100 million.
Yep.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Is that they're down to bring in guys, but don't break $100 million or John Henry's literally going to keel over. How do you expect to win and get fans to the stadium when you're fielding these dog shit teams? Like and this is not the sports market to field dog shit teams.
Yeah.
Boston is cutthroat and brutal. I don't know. Cam, you made a good point
about the week over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one all I did today, just laying around my house, was watch 98.5 and all sports shows, whatever. Sam, you brought up a point where anything over $100 million, like it's like the office building is on fire because they don't know what.
Yeah.
All the reports said ownership's involved. They're talking to Bogaerts. So as a Red Sox fan, like the four of us are, you're like, okay, that means they're finally going to get back to what they used to do and spend good money on a player that they want to keep. Another point that was brought up on 98.5 today, the Padres are now what the Red Sox used to be. They're going to go out and spend the money on Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado. They're going to spend that money. They don't care what
happens. To win.
They're willing to spend that
money. Want to win.
That's what the Sox and the Yankees used to do on the East Coast. On the West Coast, it's now the Padres trying to beat out the Dodgers.
The Red Sox have become the A's of the East Coast.
Yeah, at
literally.
this point, yeah.
You guys know my mindset. Just spend the money. Fenway Sports, they have enough money. Just spend it.
I know. That's the thing. The crazy thing is that people are like, oh, well, the Padres went out and spent this money because they're on the doorstep. Like, they were right at the NLCS. They're a couple games away. In 2021, the fucking Red Sox lost in Game 6 of the ALCS and didn't spend dick. It doesn't mean anything when the ownership doesn't want to fucking put up or shut up. It's plain and simple. That's just like don't come to me and say the reason they spent is because they're on the doorstep. It's like not every franchise has that mentality. The Red Sox had enough to get to the ALCS. Sure, they weren't really supposed to be there, but they proved that they belonged there. They stomped out the best team in the AL and the Rays the series before, but then didn't spend. The Padres laid a fucking egg against the Phillies. And they're going out and spending and buying a $300 million man. Like, what the hell?
And then look at the Phillies too. They were how many games off of a World Series, and then they're going out and spending a bag and building their team, and now they're ready to compete again.
That's what I mean.
It's like
there's a very obvious formula in today's game, and certain teams, especially the Red Sox, don't want to acknowledge it. They think that they're going to get there on homegrown talent. It just doesn't happen that way anymore.
But and it's like part of me, like, is it John Henry? Yes. Is it Heim? Yes. And I just feel like Heim's trying to bring the same method that he used in Tampa Bay that worked for as long as it did, and it can't.
It's dead. Look at the Rays now.
Right. Exactly.
Still trying to do the same thing.
So
yeah, it's a changing climate as far as bringing players in, and the thing is, like, you think about it, right? Especially this free agent season, if you will, like, has enormous impacts on the league for the next 10 years because you have all the elite players at every single position, virtually free agents now. What happens when those guys sign 8-year deals?
Yep.
Who the fuck are you going to sign next year? Fucking hope Brock Holt comes out of retirement. He's going to be your saving grace.
Hey,
like
Nelson Cruz is a free agent. He's coming.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't hate if the Red Sox signed him as a
Hey, guys, Nelson Cruz here.
Imagine that dude just peppering balls off the monster for singles left and right.
No, that's what I'm saying. You think he's getting a two-bagger off that? The dude needs a wheelchair to get down the line.
But the dude hits tanks. He's got almost 500 dingers. And that Red Sox probably get him for nothing.
Yeah.
And he's a big locker room
that's
guy.
That's right up the Red Sox alley.
Yeah,
Pay a little money for.
That's what I mean. And Nelson Cruz would make sense. And that's a great locker room guy, too.
Well, Henry's looking at it. He's like, well, Nelson Cruz hit 50 bombs 17 years ago, so he still got it.
So
he also kind of just throw in that he basically missed a fly ball to lose the World Series. But anyways, I would have caught it.
Looking at I just found the spreadsheet online. I don't know how accurate this is, but if it is, how many $100,000+ million contracts do you think the Red Sox have given out under John Henry?
1,
6.
6. So let me see if I can. So you got Story.
Yep.
I don't even remember any off the top of my head. Honestly,
one of the worst contracts in Red Sox. One of the worst players
Carl
for
Crawford?
the Red Sox. Yep.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Nope.
Adrian Gonzalez wasn't $100 million.
Oh,
he's not on.
Pablo Sandoval.
Nope. Pablo Sandoval was 95.
Oh,
see the threshold. Yeah. See, this is a real thing.
You're right. $100 million in the buildings on pot.
They don't have JD Martinez, Trevor Story, Chris Sale, Carl Crawford, Manny, and Price.
I almost said David Price.
And Price was the most expensive one. $217 million.
Jesus,
waste of money.
That worked out.
I will say JD Martinez that's a phenomenal contract.
Oh yeah,
that they brought.
That was a good one.
What did they bring him? It was like 5 years, 120.
110.
I was close. So I guess we want to move on from the negative and talk about the guys that they did bring in.
No, I want to say one more thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we still got a little bit of meat on the short stuff.
Yeah. That's what I came here for. Is to rant about all the negative. There are no positives out of it.
Oh no, we got some.
Yoshida.
Not in my mind. In my mind, it's all negative.
No.
All right, Cam, go ahead then.
When did Judge resign? I forget.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday too?
I think it was Tuesday, wasn't it?
No, it was I think it was. Yesterday. Whatever day it was.
I thought it was yesterday at like 8 a.m.
Whatever day it was. The night before, he was going to the Giants. John Heyman, I know he had his fucking screw up. I have a feeling he heard something that guaranteed going to the Giants, whatever.
Arson judge.
Right. What did Hal Steinbrenner do? Have you read these reports yet or no?
No.
Didn't he literally call Aaron Judge in and ask him what he wanted?
Called Aaron Judge. What is it going to take you to become a Yankee? Why do we have an owner in Boston?
And I hate to say it. I hate to say it. That's why the Yankees have 27 championships.
Yep.
Because they don't let their guys leave.
Yep. Just bullshit.
There's like one guy ever that like basically the Yankees offered a shit ton more money and he didn't go, and it was Greg Maddux in like 99 or something when he went to the Cubs instead.
Yeah.
Other than that, like if they pick a guy, they're going to get him. That's it. Plain and simple. You got to be a hunter, especially in a market like this. You got to be that predator. You got to go.
Got to get your guy like this, where the teams around you are getting better. The Orioles are coming. We might have another last place fucking team next year if we don't do anything else.
I think the Rays are going to finish last. To be honest,
probably, but I don't know.
I could see that.
I wish I could see a little more.
Is it bad that I still think the Blue Jays beat out the Yankees for the division?
No, I would agree. I agree.
So I got two things, and we don't have to go too in depth on it, but I want your guys' opinions. So, Bogey gone. What do you guys think the situation is for the Red Sox? Do you think they're going to go out and sign somebody, or do you think we're going to move Story back over to short and hope Arroyo or Downs can hold it down at second?
So I think there's three options. So option number one, which unfortunately is the most likely. I think you move Trevor Story to short and Christian Arroyo plays second. I think that's the most likely. The other option is you move Story to second and you try to sign either Frazier or Segura, which both of those guys aren't going to get a lot of money. I think that wouldn't be probably both those guys are upgrades over Christian Arroyo, to be honest. And it opens up that Christian Arroyo is more of a utility guy, so you can still use him every day, kind of filling around. And then the other option is you keep Story at second and you go after Dansby Swanson.
That's what I want.
Yeah. His swing is made for Fenway Park. Literally made for it. And actually, so I was doing some research on this, and Baseball Ref, you can do comparisons side by sides on StatHead. And Dansby had a way better season than Xander Bogaerts did last year.
I believe it. Xander just started red fucking hot. Like, dude was hitting 360 after the first 3 months.
So, granted, Bogaerts had a higher batting average, but Swanson had 70 more at bats. Yeah. He had 10 more home runs, 30 more RBIs, 10 more stolen bases. Like, he grounded into 2 less double plays and almost 70 at bats. Like, I know Red Sox fans wanted Xander Bogaerts back, but Dansby Swanson's a good fucking replacement.
Yeah.
If they want to, these will be cheaper too.
Go ahead, Jared.
Because I just pulled up an article, and one of the people is Dansby Swanson, who's 28 years old. So here's my question: how many years and for how much money?
I gotta imagine he's probably
the one that he's worth, and you would pay into what you think the Red Sox, if they're smart, which it proves that usually they aren't. But if they were, what offer would they make?
What he should get realistically is 7 to 8 for 190 mil, maybe. Even that's kind of pushing it.
I would put him right at 20 a year.
If we're talking the Red Sox signing him, they're gonna offer him 4 to 5 for 120.
I think you make him the same offer you made Xander. If 6/160 was what you're going to give Xander, offer that to Dansby.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I would not argue with that. Even he's a year younger, give him another year.
Yeah,
say seven years, 180.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a bad contract at all, and I think that's relatively low risk because Dansby Swanson. Guess how many games he played last year?
162.
All of them. 162 games, every fucking game. So guess what? Like Trevor Story, even if the guy's not hitting the lights out, he's not playing maybe elite defense, and maybe his hitting is a little low, he's going to go out there and give it every single fucking day for 162. And that right there is a lot of value alone.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's put it on the record. So we're just going to go around. I want everybody's honest to God opinion on what you think happens. Jared, what of the 3 options Sam laid out, which one are you taking?
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 answers. One is what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Two is what I think the Red Sox are going to do. What I think the Red Sox do so they don't have to spend any more money is move Story to short and
Arroyo.
Christian Arroyo plays second.
Yeah.
What I would like them to do, which is why I brought him up, is if you weren't going to pay that money for Bogaerts, go out, get somebody who, even though he's a year younger, just go out and get somebody that can play that position and has proven themselves to play that position.
So
whereas you're coming off a season with Story playing second, and it seems like from the minimal games I watched, because the Red Sox suck here, it seems like he was pretty comfortable over there.
I mean, he
was just an athlete.
He
could play anywhere. Yeah.
It took him.
I mean, I don't know. So though that's what I would.
Yeah. All right, Sam. What are you feeling?
So, Jared makes a good point that I mean, it's fairly obvious what I think they're going to do. I think that most likely it's just going to Arroyo to second, Story to short. But I think you don't have an excuse to not try to go sign Dansby because it's already been reported that you put money up to try to get Bogaerts. So that already shows that you're willing to spend to bring in a premier shortstop. So it may not be the one that you wanted, but this is a damn good alternate since you didn't get your guy. You got no excuse to go to not go sign him because you've already proven that you're willing to put up for it.
Right. Cam?
I'm thinking they get Dansby.
Yeah. I will be so happy if they get Dansby.
I don't think they get Dansby, but I don't think they don't make another move either. So I'm going to go, they do end up moving Story over to short, but I think
Gene the hit machine?
Yep, I think they're going to get Gene Segura.
Honestly, wouldn't hate that either.
Wouldn't.
Gene's another guy, dude puts the ball in play. He's a grinder, too. He's going to play damn near 162 every year, so I don't hate it.
Nope.
No.
Now, may I pose a question?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Or Cam, you can go first.
Ahead. You're the guest.
Thank you. Does say the Sox go out and get somebody, whoever it is, whether it's to play second or short, does that erase them letting Bogaerts go?
Because I think I think on the field it kind of does. You're getting a guy to fill that position in, but I think
it's more than that.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. I think beyond the field, one, in the eyes of the fans and in the eyes of the players, that you already know that the organization is not willing to go out and pay their guy that's been there for years. Yeah. It makes it seem like it makes those players think that they're replaceable. Basically, is what that comes off, and it sours the pot for Devers. Because why, if they're not going to lock up guys long term, why would he want to go stay with an organization like that?
This could happen to Devers a year from now.
Yeah. It will happen to Devers if they keep going the way that they're going.
Well, that actually was going to be my question: is what do we think happens?
Here's the thing.
Devers does?
I think they're going to try to get something done before the season because
now.
Well, I think you have to also because he's way too big of a piece to not try to get something at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're fucking laying an egg, he's way too big of a piece to just let walk away and not get shit for him. Yep.
But so was Xander. He walked.
But I think that they had
Devers.
I think that they had confidence that they bring back Bogaerts, but now there's no way that they can have an ounce of confidence that they'll.
Nope.
So I don't know.
Exactly.
It's
so
right.
One more thing before we move on to the positive. Who's the leader of this team now?
Raffy.
Xander.
Has to be.
For one more year, you're gonna do it again.
Raffy and Sale probably. I think Sale's probably the leader in the clubhouse.
That's the thing. You got Raffy now, but who knows what happens after this year? And then
Kike's probably up there too.
Kike's done after this year too.
See, I don't know.
Kike resigned.
You resigned. I did.
I would put Story above Kike, honestly.
Well, I think Kike's just up there because of what he did for them in the postseason, that crazy run. I think because he's been in the clubhouse longer, and I think he's a veteran. Where Story isn't really a veteran yet. He's still pretty young for the most part. And he's not a veteran in the fact that he came from a team that never won.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was that whole it's Story time? Oh, 2016.
Yeah, his rookie year when he hit fucking 12 home runs in 2 weeks or some shit.
That 2016 was his rookie year.
Yeah.
That's when Dansby Swanson's rookie year was too.
Yep.
Yeah, Trev's 30 now though, so he's getting up there a little bit.
Go get Dansby.
But All right, well let's move it on. Which one do we want to? I think we should save the big one for last.
Yeah, Kenley Jansen's a quick pick.
Yeah, so I think we can cover that first.
I like that signing a lot.
I'm a
2 years, 32.
Huge fan. So, bro, was the NL leader in saves last year.
We have like 42, 41?
41. So, and now our big concern last year was the bullpen, right? Now you got Kenley, you got Schreiber coming back, you got Chris Martin, like
Houck is supposedly in the bullpen still.
Well, yeah, because
which he's much better in the bullpen
now, but
yeah. But like, I mean, Schreiber or Jansen, if they're both on, that's a disgusting setup close, like 1-2 punch.
You know what else I think? I still think they go out, and I still think they end up getting Taylor Rogers.
I mean, that's your middle reliever right there.
Yeah,
that's your 6th, 7th guy right there.
Like, I think they'd probably end up using him in a 7-8.
You think?
Because that's what he was closing for Minnesota before he.
Well, what do you do with Schreiber and Jansen? Which one do you just use both as closers?
Well, I think I mean, depending on the situation and who's coming up, but I think you have Schreiber and Rogers in that 7-8, and it's kind of like interchangeable, and then you have Kenley lock it down.
Well, I believe Kenley Jansen's like historically really bad against lefties, so. You can kind of interchange them a little
Still
bit.
Still a little concerned about Taylor Rogers after his BABIP last year when he got traded was above 500.
Yeah. It's not good.
Jared, you know what BABIP is?
You guys have talked about it before, right?
Batting average on balls in play. So essentially half the time they were putting the ball in play, dudes were getting
yeah.
Insanity.
I remember you guys talking about it.
Like,
but I
holy shit.
I think Kenley Jansen shores up a huge hole in the pitching staff just in general. Because I think it also, you have a second stud in that bullpen with Schreiber, and it alleviates that pressure on Whitlock and allows him to be a starter. Because I think last year where you're using him as a starter, you couldn't really afford to, but you had to.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of it.
I mean, when he's on, he's one of the best closers in baseball. And there's not a lot of good closers in baseball anymore. It's just not a position that's like it was in the early 2000s.
Yeah, well, now we're not going to be relying on Schreiber as much as we were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might need bullpen help because right now we only have 5 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to end up landing some schlub to fill that.
I got to imagine Bayo will be on the opening day roster. I got to imagine.
Well, I was thinking the 5: Chris Sale, James Paxton, Whitlock, Pivetta, and Bayo.
Paxton's gone. He opted out.
Oh, he did opt out? And Spot Track's not updated now.
They paid him $15 million to rehab.
I thought he opted back in.
I thought
he opted out. Did they opt him out and then sign a new contract? Because I know at one point he opted.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find. Yeah, he exercised his player option 1 month ago.
Yeah, so he's back.
Interesting. Okay, for some reason I thought he opted out. Must have read it wrong.
$4 million.
Well, I mean, $4 million?
Yeah,
that's low risk. Take that.
Dude did
still virtually
last year, right?
That's what I say. Still paid him like $15 million to rehab.
Last year.
But yeah, I mean, Kenley Jansen when he's on is a stud. He's older, but like on a 2-year deal, and with pitchers pitching when they're old as shit, like that's a super low risk contract. I like it.
Absolutely, I'm a fan of that one.
Jerry, how you feeling? You like Kenley?
I'm glad that we have a designated closer. Because I feel like in the past, couple of years, it's kind of just been like, all right. It's like one of those, like, can you close? No, all right.
Well, that's what it was. There was
okay, you're going.
Where Cora was like, all right, Austin Davis, you're in.
Well, it's just like they just throw guys into the fire, and they're like, oh, you got to save? All right, we'll run them out there again.
Yeah. So I'm happy on that front. I mean, they still have a lot more work to do. It's not like they can't. They can't just wipe their hands and be like, okay, we spent some money. We're good for the 2023 spring training. Like, no, you still got a lot of.
We're not even close yet.
So I don't know. It all depends on. I mean, what I'm most interested about now is the shortstop.
Yeah.
Here's a little trivia question. Got a trivia question on Kenley for you. What position was he drafted as?
Catcher.
Yep.
Was he really?
Yep. He played in the World Baseball Classic as a catcher.
Wow.
Yeah. Played in the WBC as a catcher.
Hitting catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then just threw smoke from behind the plate, and they're like, "Well, you don't hit that good." So
who else was a switch hitting catcher for the Red Sox, Jared?
Your mom's favorite.
Oh, Veritek?
Yeah.
I was just about to turn around to see if that thing was over here, but it's pulled it up.
You should have brought it in.
Held it up.
Go down to the big guy.
Yeah.
I'm stoked on this signing. If I'm being honest,
dude, we were on last night. We were playing PlayStation. We were like, oh shit.
Yeah. This is. So I watched a bunch of highlight videos and stuff on him. Looked at his numbers, and if you look at side by sides, and like what people say about how he's got average speed basically. Pretty average speed. His glove is average, but his bat to ball skills are stupid. Dude struck out 41 times and 508 at bats last year.
Walked 80 times.
Yeah. So to me, a comp that I heard thrown around that makes sense, JD Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Lefty, smooth swinging, gets a lot of base hits. And JD Drew was money for the Red Sox. And he's a career 326 hitter, won the batting title last year.
So going back to the strikeout thing real quick, 3,251 plate appearances in 7 years. You know how many times this dude struck out?
A couple hundred.
3,251 appearances, struck out 307 times.
That's dumb.
Wow.
That is fucking insane.
About 10% of the time. That's good. Wow.
I mean, so he's going to hit leadoff, right? Has to.
Has to be.
So you got a guy he's coming to the majors. Is he gonna hit 326 in the majors? Probably not.
Not his first year, at least.
No, but he also had 21 bombs last year. So there's a guy who gets on base, doesn't strike out, has some pop. Like, he could make a living down that right field line.
Well, the thing is, too, traditionally, Japanese fields are 5 to 10 feet bigger than American baseball fields, too. So.
Yeah. The only concern I have about him is he is an absolute defensive liability.
Yeah. That's why I think it might make sense, honestly. Like, you go out and sign a decent outfielder. Why not just fucking throw him a DH? JD's gone.
Yeah.
So
he played primarily left in Japan. So I guess you're gonna put him in left and move Doogie to right.
Yeah, I think you
have
to.
Kike in center.
I think so. Cass is first. Cass is first. Arroyo, Story, Devers. Then
how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about the contract? 5 years, $90 million, but they got to pay the $15.4 million posting fee.
And everyone does it. Angels did it with Shohei. The fucking Yankees did it with Tanaka.
I'm not necessarily worried about the posting fee, but everything that I was reading, apparently a lot of insiders think the Sox overpaid for him by like a substantial amount.
Really?
Yeah, like over half of what they could have got him for.
I'm reading. Chris, it might have been the same article you saw from Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
Where one executive went as far to say we thought he was worth less than half of what.
Yeah.
So probably like closer to 8 to 10 million instead of like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Because they're paying him what right now?
5 for 90.
Is that 22? Yeah.
Jared, what's
no, sorry. 18.
18.
Me, ask the accountant.
Yeah.
No,
18 mil.
Off.
Just because he's an accountant doesn't mean he knows shit.
Listen, I don't hate the contract. Because I think also it's not a super high risk. Like, it's not like you're spending because that thing is with that contract, he's tradable.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, someone will eat that contract, even if we have to pay part of it. But also, like, I think there's a lot of room for upside on that contract too. He could easily, if he puts up numbers like he did in Japan, that's a no-brainer of a contract. You'll pay that guy 18 mil. If he hits 20 home runs and hits 280 to 300 with 180 plus hits, like, that's easy.
Right.
Just don't strike out. God, I fucking hate people striking out.
Well, it's those 3 true outcomes, modern day hitters.
Yep.
It's the worst.
I'm just really excited to see what he brings.
I think
electric.
Yeah, I think it could be a huge upside, and his swing is like butter. I don't know if you watch some highlights. It's
Can you just say it like that again? Butter.
Butter.
Butter dog with the butter. Me every time Masataka Yoshida gets on base, and another one.
Talk about a great name, also. What do you think they call him? Is Taka? Masa? Taka
Yoshi.
Masa? Yoshi? Or Da? Da.
A Da. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of that one. I agree. I do think we overpaid a little bit, but at the end of the day, what are you gonna do?
Look, like at the end, this runs along the same way that the Padres got Xander. It like in today's market, if you got a guy and you want to go out and get him, you're gonna have to overpay for him. Mm-hmm. Nobody's bringing in players at market value. So
I'm honestly surprised with how quick he made his decision, though. So like his mind had to have been made up. Like if the Sox offer me, I'm going, because he was only posted for
a couple hours.
Yeah. So it's like you didn't want to wait and see what anybody else was going to offer you. You just decided to.
Well, I was watching MLB Network, and they made a joke where it was like, so I guess when you actually when you list as a free agent, you have 45 days to sign as an international player. They're like, you must have thought he had 45 minutes, not 45 days.
Well, so my thing is he's talking about how everybody thinks that they overpaid, blah blah blah. So maybe the thought process is okay. He thought he was going to get less, and the Sox offered him a shit ton more, and he's like,
maybe.
Yep.
I thought I was going to get 5 years for $5 million.
Now, dude's getting paid $90 million.
Well, and that's all 5 years of his arbitration too. So that's why I thought it. Well, I don't know. Is arbitration different for international players? I think it is, right? I think it's 3 years instead of 5.
Idea.
I think it's shorter. Regardless, I don't hate it. I think he brings a lot to the table. I think he could be a fan favorite. I mean, Red Sox, like I texted you guys, Red Sox have a lot of luck signing international guys. Like Koji Uehara, Hideki, I shouldn't say international, Japanese players, but Hideki Okajima, Daisuke, Koji Uehara. Like, I mean, this is the first position player that they're bringing over, but so far, those three guys, I mean, Daisuke was an all-star 2 or 3 times. Koji Uehara was like a massive part of Koji Uehara and Hideki Okajima were huge parts of the 2013 run. So, or Okajima was earlier, I think, right? Okajima was with Daisuke. Sorry. Okajima was with Daisuke, and Koji was later.
Where Okajima was on the 2013 team.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think he was earlier, too.
I think he came over with Daisuke, to be honest.
I have no idea, so don't
look at me. He pitched for the Athletics in 2013.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it was like that. I don't even know when he was with the Red Sox, to be honest.
07 through 11. 17.
Yeah, 07 was when they won the World Series, and they had him and Daisuke. But I think there's a lot of upside. Despite if they brought back Xander and they signed those two guys, I'd be like, the Red Sox are sitting pretty. Like, we got a shot. We might finish above 2 teams in the division this year. But now, like, shit, man. I don't know.
I had my Christmas list screenshot just in case it actually happened. And then Devers, or not Devers.
What was it? You want Yoshida, you want Senga, you want Devers and Bogaerts.
Cam wanted fucking everybody under the sun. He wanted Trey, Judge, fucking.
I wanted that $1 billion with the contracts the Padres.
Oh, you'd be paying a lot more than $1 billion, Cam, with the shit you wanted. You would have been paying fucking $15 billion.
It's not my money.
Would have Bezos buy the fucking Red Sox before that happened.
Beers would be $25 at the games.
Holy shit! They covered their salaries. Oh my god! That's what I'm nervous to see what ticket prices are going to be like this year, because Henry's probably like, "Oh, ticket sales are down. Just jack it up to make our money back."
Yeah, that ain't how that works, pal.
If he does that, I ain't going to a single game.
I don't think I am.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm going to at least one.
I think a lot. Yeah. I think a lot of Red Sox fans have a negative mindset towards Red Sox.
Yeah.
How can you not?
And I think, well, like, some people may say, "Oh, you know what? It's a business." Blah 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 blah. But you know what? I mean, we being from Massachusetts, we care about our sports teams. We hate to see people go, especially when they've been here their whole career and they're playing well, really well. And I have the mindset of, why don't you just make the fans happy? Spend the money.
Yeah.
Who can,
Well,
what is money
argument.
to these people? How much is John Henry worth? How much is Fenway Sports Group worth?
Well, it's because they're buying all the other fucking teams.
Yeah, he sold what did he sell? Liverpool, and now he's looking to buy
Liverpool. I don't think it's sold.
Oh, well, they're selling that. They're looking to buy the Washington Commanders. Why don't you
I heard Commanders, and they also might try to buy an MLS club as well.
I don't mean to. I know this is a baseball podcast, but I like what I don't like what the Patriots do sometimes. But Robert Kraft, he doesn't just own the Patriots. He has other business ventures, but he keeps them separated from the Patriots. He leaves
that's
Bill Belichick in charge to do what he wants.
Well, Robert Kraft is he's a big part of the franchise and how it functions and everything. Once upon a time in 2004, before it was FSG, it was Tom Werner and John Henry were the owners, and they were like that. They had a part of the team. They were in the locker room, it's so different.
They cared about the team and the fan base,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, kind of going back to what you said about how some people are like, well, it's a business, but at the end of the day, it's not, because so say so I drive a Subaru, right? Subaru, and I like my car, but Subaru say they fire the president of the company. I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck? They gotta bring in the guy from Ford. He's better. No, it's totally different than a business. It's personal. Yeah. This is part of our lives.
You're putting out a product.
Exactly. And it's more, but it's more than just a product. It's a culture. You're putting out a culture. You're putting out a product. This is a massive part of people's lives. And
especially here, we've never lived we've always lived in Massachusetts our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, you lived in Virginia.
I did, and DC.
Cavaliers guy.
Okay. So that goes back to my point. They don't care about, they care about sports, yeah, but not as much as we care about
there ain't a place
the Red Sox.
No.
Look at it. Look. It's beautiful.
I'm looking at that chair with the Red Sox logo. Never mind the...
Oh, yeah, the rocking chair?
Yeah, no, you have a rocking chair with the...
Hey, you know us. We're big Red Sox fans over here.
Lead Red Sox red.
So,
but going back to my point is you're putting out a product. Don't you want to make your fans happy?
You guys want to start the riot now? We could be trendsetters. Then we'll really blow up.
We need to join together with Angels fans.
Yes.
Red Sox and Angels fans are in the same situation right now.
So I'm
just
looking
weird
at
signings. Everyone wants them to sell.
I'm looking at two different articles right now about Fenway Sports Group's net worth.
Oh God.
One from October in 21, the other from October of this year. October 21, they're worth $4.8 billion.
Yep.
October this year, $10 billion.
Well,
so they
in
one year.
In one fiscal year, they doubled their net.
Obviously,
more
that's
than
net
so
worth.
I'll tell you the two main reasons, right? So they purchased the Penguins, so that adds value right there, and Liverpool won the Premier League. So those are probably the two biggest revenue additions.
Again, that's net worth, but with you just still purchase the Penguins,
it's value. Okay, it's value. Yeah, but it's just bizarre, especially Premier League soccer is bizarre because they make so much money off of that, and they make so money off of the merchandise and the tickets and stuff. But the players don't get paid what they get paid in American sports. Mm-hmm. That's why, to me, is why aren't you reallocating some of that shit and funneling it back to the Red Sox? Fuck.
That's what I back to their pockets. What do you mean?
Yeah,
that's. I was just gonna say I would be curious to see where the money went.
You'll never find
what? No, I know you never will. That'll never happen. No business company, not sports. No, they'll never release where their money goes. But we know they have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Spend it. Make us happy for once.
It's it's the most annoying part of it because they constantly put up money to try to bring in these players. But no matter what it is, they're always trying to get the players for undervalue. So, like, you could have a player that's worth, like, say Shohei Ohtani goes in the market. He's probably going to get around $500 million in free agency. He's going to be looking at around 50 AAV because you basically got to pay him 2 players' salaries.
Yep.
2 premier players' salaries, right? So if his market value is $500 million, the Red Sox would offer him $450. So they'd still put up a fuckload of money, but they're not going to pay him what he's valued. Yeah. And that's their problem, is they're willing to put up the money, but for some reason they just they're like bargain shoppers. Like,
right.
You don't go to like a store and like find some shit on sale for $5 and expect it to be quality. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, this thing's probably a piece of shit. It's going to last me a couple days, but like, and that's the way that they're looking at players. They're trying to get bargains on these guys.
It's like going to a store and something being priced $5, but then you go up to the counter and be like, all right, I'll give you $4.50 for it.
Right. Exactly. It just doesn't make any sense. It's
the part that doesn't make sense to me is that going back to before the season started, when spring training was kicking off, Bogaerts, shortstop, our number one priority. Okay. I'm sure we all said, okay, why don't you take care of it now? They didn't. Whatever. Wait till the season's over. That's fine. Bogaerts even said mid-season he wanted to just focus on the season. That's
right.
Understandable. Off-season rolls around. Just leading in the last week, I don't know when the winter meeting started. I know it was just a few days ago, but
it's Sunday, yeah. Sunday to Wednesday.
Number one priority. But talks are intensifying. Ownership's involved. Big money. But they said it today on 98.5. Either do what you say you're doing, or don't say anything at all.
That's what I mean. All it's doing
leave it alone.
All it's doing is building this massive distrust from the fan base and the players. Everyone surrounding it has this huge distrust now.
Mm-hmm.
It was all a PR stunt. Some people are saying maybe the Red Sox didn't even want Bogaerts back. They knew he was worth a ton of money. They didn't want to pay it, so they put out, we're trying our best. We did everything we could to keep him here. No, you said that with Mookie, and he left too. I don't know if you said it with Lester, but it's the same story over and over and over again.
They traded Lester, but still, they should have had him signed before when they didn't deal him at the deadline. But it's like, I'm just flabbergasted at like the inconsistency and like the lack of trust that you should have in an organization to go out and do what they're going to say they're going to do. Like, it's just it makes it so hard to be a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And like, obviously, like, I'll be a Red Sox fan until I'll probably get fucking buried in a Red Sox hat. Like, let's be honest. But like, it fucking kills me. I literally, when I woke up this morning and saw the Bogaerts news, I felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah, when I text you guys, I was like, shit, they're going to wake up and see my text, and that's going to be the breaking news.
Woke up at 6 a.m., and that was a great start to the day.
Sorry.
I just yelled, fuck. Laying on my back in bed, just yelled, fuck.
I had to roll over and bury my face in my pillow, and
yeah. It's just like, it's,
I rolled over.
It's so
rolled over,
annoying.
so I back to sleep.
It's just disheartening.
That's important.
It sucks, dude. I wore all black to work today. As you can see, this is what I wore, and I got black pants on. It's like a fucking funeral.
The other thing that I am curious about is we talked about like what the players in the locker room, like what they're thinking now, especially Devers going into this season and then obviously next offseason. I'm wondering what Cora's mindset is. Like, is he just sitting back and being like, what? I'm trying to win out here, and you're not helping me at all.
Something very interesting about that, right? So, according to the Red Sox, they told media last night at like 10 o'clock that Bogaerts was meeting with Cora this morning.
Yep, I did see that too.
To me, that screams so much bullshit.
Yeah.
That just makes me, one, you're trying to villainize Bogaerts, because I feel like that probably was never even a thing. And then
meetings, what, say sayonara?
Right. And like, also, like, to me, it just adds even more fuel to the fire of the thought that signing Yoshida and Jansen so close together right before Bogaerts leave is just a cushion.
Mm-hmm.
And that all this narrative of this timeline is faked, because you just don't want fans to be pissed. It's what it feels like to me.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was like I said, it's they planned it. They ultimately knew, and people say it when they signed Story, they knew it was the end for Bogaerts in Boston. So they had all this time to start playing, how can we scheme this up to not piss everybody off? Yeah, well, we're pissed. So you obviously didn't do your job well.
You fucked up.
Well, so here's the interesting thing. If you remember with Story, too, like, when they signed him, it was like this. You didn't hear Red Sox linked to Trevor Story this, Red Sox in talks with Trevor Story, nothing. Most of their recent decent-sized signings, they're hush-hush about everything, which is why all this talk about Bogaerts just seems like more and more bullshit. It just seems like it was spoon-fed, just trying to soften the blow, make it seem like we're really trying. We offered him 8 years for $8 million. Like, they offered him pennies to the dollar compared to what other teams are offering him, just as a formality to say that we're trying. Like, it's insulting. It's insulting to a fan base. That's I'll rest my case there. It's insulting.
And the other thing, too, I mean, I'm just going off because I told you, like, when you guys talk about Red Sox, I'm just going to go off because there's a bunch of idiots. But if I'm Xander, I'm like, yeah, there's probably a part of me that's like, yeah, I wanted to spend my career in Boston, but you know what? You're not going to give me what I'm worth.
Yeah, if they're going to treat you like fucking shit,
you're lost.
I'll be a Xander Bogaerts fan for the rest of his career.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't blame Xander one bit.
Not at all. No, this is not.
And that when he comes back to Fenway, he will get a standing ovation, and that's not even in question.
He's not coming back this year.
I mean,
looked it up already.
Really? Are they going to San Diego this year?
Yeah, they're going to San Diego this year.
All right, so next year we're getting tickets?
Yep,
absolutely. I'm down.
I'm a firm believer there's a fine line between always wanting to be with one team, and you can tell from Bogaerts that's what he wanted to do. You guys 100%. Said it about Christian Vasquez too. But there's also the other side where it's like, at some point, you want to make that money. Brady did it for 20 years with the Pats. He took less and less money to help the team, and then finally he was like, you know what? I want to cash in. I want to make some money. Are you going to give it to me? No.
Well,
okay. Deuces. See ya.
This was Xander's last chance at the big money, too. So it's either you take it now or you never get it.
I don't even think it was as big a thing about getting more money because it was the years is what it came down to, really. But, like, at the same time, like, they spit in his face. They spit in his face for a full season. And they spit in his face in Fort Myers. That's what I mean. Like, it just – I don't blame him whatsoever. I would have done the same fucking thing. And even at an 11-year contract, that means you're getting paid bread for fucking 11 years. It's a no-brainer. Like, it's just if they're offering you more AAV and more years, and the team's already spit in your face, why the fuck wouldn't you leave? It's dumb. Like, no one on their right minds would be like, Xander's a traitor. Bullshit.
Well, and anybody who thinks that doesn't get it.
They don't understand.
They haven't been a Red Sox fan long enough, and they don't
exactly.
So anybody who has anything bad to say about Xander leaving is a fucking moron.
Yeah, because they don't realize that the Red Sox had every opportunity to keep him here, and they didn't. And before and after the season, it wasn't like you just had one crack at it.
Nope. No. Yeah. Had him for 11 years. You could have locked him up a long time ago.
You could have done it during the season. Started like sprinkling little discussions here and there.
That's the thing,
like on long break.
It was your priority. There's no discussion. Look what the Yankees did. Prioritized Judge, asked him what he wanted, gave it to him. If he's your priority, there's not even contract negotiation or discussion. You ask him what he wants and you give it to him. That's where prioritize. You can throw that word around whatever the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, you got to put up or shut up, put your money where your mouth is, and you got to prove that he's the priority. You don't just say that he is.
Well, and that's what Heim was saying too a couple weeks ago or whatever. We talked about it in a couple episodes ago where like he came out and said that Xander's our top priority. Well, you didn't fucking show it.
Nope. You didn't do it.
So...
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna say that, make an effort to
gotta make it happen.
Make him your top. Like,
exactly.
If it was a different story. Say it comes out that, you know what, we gave him this number. He came back to us with this number. We gave him this number again. He talked to some other teams, came back with it. That's a different story. If you truly went back and forth and in the end it was like, you know what, it's not going to work. but $120 million difference.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
That's like the Red Sox. They weren't even trying.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. There wasn't even negotiations at that point. It's literally him. Mm-hmm. They're sending him that contract offer, and he goes, "What?
Like, excuse me?"
He just
don't they
didn't even look at it?
Yeah, like,
don't they have
people? You called the wrong guy. Like,
he just spit on it and threw it away.
Like, don't they have people who do some calculations in an Excel spreadsheet and be like, okay, and like come to the John Henry and be like, listen, this is what Bogaerts is probably going to get from other teams. Don't they have? I know they could refer to them as nerds on TV.
Whether or not
so did they not listen?
I don't know. Well, the thing is, just like players like him, it's a generational talent. He's an elite player at his position. Sure, you're signing him because you think he's going to help you succeed. But there's so many more things that a player like him brings to the table. One, you got the field side of it, right? So he's going to play well, but also he's your captain in the locker room. Guys trust him. They love him. That's one thing. He puts asses in seats. Every single Red Sox fan, who's their favorite player? It was fucking Xander Bogaerts. Everybody fucking loved him. That's everyone's favorite player. So you're selling fucking jerseys, you're selling fucking dog scarves, you're selling fucking souvenir cups, like whatever the fuck. You put his face on it, it's selling. That alone is making you that money back just off of, like, aside from winning. You know what I mean? Like, he's your franchise guy, and that's what the Red Sox have gotten wrong time and time and time again. Is it's not just about throwing money at this guy. Like, it's bigger than that, and like they just seem to completely ignore that aspect of it.
I agree.
I don't have anything. I'm just getting more and more. Oh, I just played Adios Pelota by accident. That's okay.
Oh, Jared's buffering.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's a good time.
Jared,
all right, yeah. He's out.
He's out. Bye, Jared. I was going to ask him.
That's actually ironic that I hit Adios Pelota and then he got booted from the goal.
He's back. There he is.
All right, he's back.
He's back.
We're good.
All right, Jared, we're getting ready to wrap up. Oh, can you hear us? Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear us? Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right. Well, before I have one question for him before he goes, and then just real quick, we'll give a quick update on our free agent prediction sheet so far. Your boys leading the way with a crisp 50%, 6 for 12, not bad. Cam, who said Gary Sanchez, above average defender, is in second place with 4 out of 12.
Still in second place. Don't care. Still in second place.
He's still in second place. And then bringing up the rear, the caboose, with an outstanding 2 for 12.
Hey, listen, I'm still on the podium. That's a bronze medal, baby. I will say the thing that pissed me off the most, I said this to Chris earlier, Cam. If you listen to the podcast, so I wrote down Houston for Wilson Contreras, but the first fucking thing I said was, I bet you he goes to the Cardinals. But I fucking wrote down Houston.
Who said Cardinals? Hi, how are you?
Because it's, yeah, I mean, hey. Well, listen, so that's our emergency meeting. We'll probably only do these for the Red Sox for the most part, just because we can really pump out just anger with this. But that's going to be it. We'll be back on Monday with our regular pod. We're just going to be going over the signings outside of the Red Sox. So much shit. One of the reasons we did this episode is because if we did both these combined, it would have been a 2.5 hour long pod.
Yeah.
So figure we do this one while it's urgent, while it's fresh, while we have those gut reactions, and then we'll be back Monday morning with your regular scheduled programming.
Yes. I will say, real quick, be on the lookout for merch. I know we're thinking about merch that we want to put out. Just be on the lookout.
Yeah, if you got any recommendation of stuff that you'd want to see as merch, like obviously I think we're working on hats and t-shirts. If there's any other like specific thing anybody's got in mind, by all means, we're trying to get that off the ground. And again, I think we can't say it enough. We want to just thank everybody who's supported us to this point, everybody who tunes in every week, drops the likes, hits the subscribe button, like wherever you're listening, we appreciate it. And even if you're not listening all the way through, if you just click on listen here and there, like if you have it on in the background, we really appreciate it. It means a lot to us.
We're just getting started, baby.
Yeah, we're doing this for fun, and it's awesome that there's people listening like that are like we're seeing posting on like Snapchat and Instagram and stuff, people watching us and tagging us and stuff. Like it really
it's cool.
It's appreciated.
Yeah, you really can't understand how much that means to us.
Absolutely.
So we're just doing this for fun, and to see that people are actually enjoying it means the world. So with that said,
just one last thing before we go.
Yeah.
Fuck John Henry.
Fuck John Henry. Fuck Fenway Sports Group. Sell the team, send them off in the moon, make them go buy a team in Dubai or something. I don't give a shit.
Take Bobby Dahlbeck with you.
Amen, sister. We go!